is a video over chapter 1.3. And as always, when we start a video, I remind you that you have the pause key on your computer so that you can use it to pause as you need to stop and do work. We're not going to be pausing the video. When we start a video, we start by looking at the goal for the day or the learning target. We're going to compare and order integers and absolute values. We have some new vocabulary to cover. A blank is a number less than 0, and that is a negative number. A blank is a number greater than 0, and that's a positive number. Another definition here is a blank is a whole number. An integer is a whole number. The number that corresponds to a point on a number line is called its coordinate. A mathematical sentence indicating that two quantities are not equal is called an inequality. The distance between a number and 0 on the number line is called its absolute value. Example, compare integers. Replace the dot in the equation with either a less than or a greater than to make a true sentence. So to do that, we want to graph each integer on the number line. We're going to start with the number 2, our negative 2. So we'll put a dot where the negative 2 is. And we'll put a dot where the number negative 1 is. Since the number negative 2 is to the left of negative 1, it must be smaller. Negative 2 is less than negative 1 since it lies to the left of negative 1. So here's your answer. We put in the less than symbol. Negative 2 is less than negative 1. Check your progress. Let's have you do that same example. So please pause the video so that you can do that. Replace the dot in the equation with either the less than or the greater than or the equal to statement to make it a true sentence. So here is the sentence. Negative 2 dot 2. If we look at negative 2, we place it on the number line here. We look at the number 2, place it on the number line here. Since the number negative 2 is to the left of the number 2, the number negative 2 is less than 2. Expressions with absolute value. Please evaluate the symbol 5, the absolute value of 5 minus the absolute value of 5. The absolute value of 5 is 5. So the absolute value of 5 here is the number 5. The absolute value of 5 is 5, so 5 minus 5, of course, is 0. A little bit more about absolute value. When I say absolute value, say the absolute value of the number 5 is the number, the distance it is from 0 on the number line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the number 5 is 5 units. And so that becomes the absolute value of 5 is 5. If I look at the absolute value of negative 5, I find that number on the number line. It's minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, and it's right here. But the distance from 0 is 5 units. So the absolute value of negative 5 is also 5. Evaluate negative 3 minus 3, the absolute value of negative 3 minus 3. So I'm going to again look at a number line. The absolute value of negative 3 there's the value, there's negative 3 on a number line. If I look at that distance from 0, it's 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, it's 3 units, so the absolute value is 3. So this part of the equation becomes 3. If you minus then the absolute value of 3, well, I need to place that on the number line. It's right here. The distance from 0, it's 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units. So the absolute value of positive 3 is 3. I get 3 minus 3 is also equal to 0. Evaluate the expression, the absolute value of 6 minus the absolute value of 5. The absolute value of 6 is 6. The absolute value of 5, I'm sorry, the absolute value of negative 5 is 5. It's 5 units from 0. It's 5 units from 0, so 6 minus 5 is 1. The answer is 1. Evaluate the absolute value of 9 minus the absolute value of 6. Again, on a number line from 0 to 9 is 9 units. From 0 to 6, negative 6, is 6 units. Doesn't matter positive or negative, it's 6 units. So I've got 9 minus 6, which equals 3. Remember, absolute value always talks about the distance from 0 to the number. So the answer in this case is 3. Please evaluate 6 minus 9, the absolute value of 6 minus 9 minus the absolute value of 5 minus 3. We're going to simplify what's inside the absolute value signs. That's a grouping symbol. So 6 minus 9 becomes negative 3, the absolute value of negative 3, and the absolute value of 5 minus 3 becomes 2. The absolute value, when we simplify, the absolute value of negative 3 is 3. The absolute value of 2 is 2. 3 minus 2 is equal to 1, and of course that's the answer. Please do this one on your own. The absolute value of 4 minus 7, 4 minus 7 is negative 3. Minus the absolute value of 11 minus 6, 11 minus 6 is 5. So within the absolute value symbols, it's 5. The absolute value of 3, it's 3 units from 0, so it's 3 of negative 3. The absolute value of 5 is 5. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. About expressions with, again, another example, but this time we're going to be substituting some numbers in for x. So in this case, we're going to substitute in a negative 4 in for the x. X with negative 4. The absolute value of negative 4 is 4. So 4 plus 13, when we simplify that, we get an answer of 17. Please do this one on your own. We're going to substitute the number negative 2 into the absolute value symbol for x. So we're going to say the absolute value of negative 2 plus 7. The absolute value of negative 2, 2 units from 0, doesn't matter the direction, plus 7. 2 plus 7 becomes 9. The answer is 9. The average height of a mature redwood tree is 220 feet, give or take 20 feet. Graph the equation, x minus 220 equals 20 on a number line to determine the least and the greatest average height of a redwood tree. Well, I'm going to pick this distance right here, and I'm going to say that's 220. Right here would be 225, 230, the next one, 235, and 240. You can make those look a little bit better. Let's do those again to make them look better. I'm going to put this one as 220. This one is 225. This one is 230. This one is 235. This one is 240. We can stop there. We could continue. Each little mark is going to represent 5. This one would be 5 less. I'm moving to the left, so it would be 5 left. This becomes 215 and 210. 210 becomes 205. 205 becomes 200. 5, 10, 15, 20. Let's go to 195. All right. Well, if according to the equation, it can be either give or take 20, so it can be up 20, 5, 5, 10, 15, 20. It could be as high as this, or it could be down 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. So it could be as low as that. So somewhere between 200 and 240. Okay. In order for Aiden to receive an average of 90% on the history test this semester, he must score 75%, give or take 3% on his final exam. Graph the equation, the absolute value of x minus 75 is equal to 3. And here's your proposed answers down here at the bottom. Well, I'm going to pick this point right here and say that that's 75. Here's 76 is right here. 77, 78, 79. And if I go the other way, of course, this could be 74. 73 is right here. 72, 71. To show it as either 3 higher or 3 lower, it could go 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, or it could go down by as many as 3 units, 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units. He needs to get somewhere between a 72 and a 78 on the test. 72 and 78 on the test to reach his goal.